I'm the main character today. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. On behalf of Frederick and Sohee, I want to warmly welcome you to this beautiful gathering. It's a beautiful venue, isn't it? Thank you for being here today. To friends, to family, to loved ones who have traveled near and far, your presence means a lot. We've come together on this beautiful day not just to witness a ceremony, but to celebrate a partnership, a relationship that has grown and deepened, rooted in love, shaped by time, and carried by a shared sense of care, humor, and resilience. My name is Tae-Young Woo, and I've had the joy of being Fred's friend for nearly 15 years. We attended different high schools just about 40 miles north of here in Connecticut, but we first got to know each other when Fred gave me a ride to the train station after we both attended a mutual friend's violin concert near his school. Since then, we've been friends here in Connecticut, all the way out in Korea, where I must acknowledge that he has visited more regions of my home country than I have. And back in New York, where we teamed up to start a company at the beginning of the pandemic, alongside our friend Austin, who's also in the audience today. There you are. Now, those of you who know the groom likely know he loves tradition, formality, structure, and good manners. Which is why, when he asked me to MC his wedding, he probably assumed that I'd be responsible and not do anything too wild. 2 days ago, I texted him 2 options he could choose for my identity today. Either a stand-up comedian or a church pastor. As expected, he politely and diplomatically replied, somewhere in between. So as much as I want to toss this script and kick things off with a spontaneous dance party to Jingle Bell Rock, I will honor the good man's wishes and do my best to behave myself for the rest of the program. The bride and groom have requested that although photos and videos are welcome, please leave much of the record keeping for the professionals and enjoy the moment instead. With that said, if you don't mind, could everyone please pull out your cell phones and hold them in the air for me, just like this. There we go. People are trying to figure out where their phones are. Now pull them back to the front of your face, and please put them on silent or airplane mode. I heard some claps. I think people like that. We would love for this ceremony to be free of Apple jingles or any blaring alarm bells as the bride and groom share their sacred moment with all of you. Today isn't really about a beginning or an end. It's a moment to recognize and honor a loving relationship that has already been lived in, laughed through, and grown with. So let us enjoy this time to reflect, share, and celebrate something that already feels like home. I would now like to welcome the parents from both families to the front. Please give a warm round of applause for the parents of the bride and groom. Let's keep it going. If you could wave to the audience. And now for another round for the parents of the bride. Ready? as it takes a few more minutes, a few more moments. And now, the moment we've all been waiting for. For those who are able, please all rise. Please join me in welcoming the bride and groom. May the guests please be seated. One of the things that makes today so meaningful is the presence of family, especially those who raised and shaped the bride and groom, and who've offered wisdom, support, and love. At this time, I would like to invite each set of parents to share a few words. Shall we start with the bride's parents? To this microphone, please.
Hello, good evening. I'm the father of the bride, Sohee. First, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to all of you for attending and celebrating with Fred and Sohee. And Sohee, when you first came into this world, you were the hope of all our entire family. Your mother and I were so grateful to God that He gave you as a great gift to us. So we named you Sohee, which means pure hope or clear hope. When you're about less than 2 years old, you memorized several songs, and I remember that you often sang in front of your baby brother. And you loved reading books and drawing pictures creatively. So your grandfather often said, "You are the teacher," so he is the teacher. And later, when your mother had to go back to work, you did not like to be left apart from her. So his grandmother persuaded you gently by saying, "I will bring home interesting books from the school where I work." And then you allowed her to leave. And later, when you got an admission letter for your doctoral program and visited your Seongnam grandmother, she was very proud of you. Although she passed away shortly after, she would be very proud to see how hard you have worked during all 7 years of study, and finally have got your PhD. We are so proud of you, Sohee. Now, Fred, the first time I remember Sohee introduced you to my family was in autumn 2016. At that time, we went to climb Mount Dobong, which is in the northern part of Seoul. By the way, Sohee has slight fear of heights, and when she climbs up to the roof of a house or high places, she often said, "Father, my nose seems as if it will fall off." This is a Korean expression meaning that he feels so high in the air that her nose might fall off. So she had very difficult time to climb up the mountain top area. Then, so his mother and I saw that Fred was patiently helping and leading Sohee to climb up the rocky areas. So his mother and I were so impressed to see how considerate you were and how well you took care of Sohee. You tried to speak in Korean whenever you met us, and you like to taste Korean dishes, and like to attempt new experiences. These qualities really made us to like you. And so his so his paternal grandmother was in the nursing home. You sent her pictures and updates with the big letters too easy to read every week. Most of all, you interviewed her and made a video of it and loaded it up on YouTube to remember her. Really, you have a heart like an angel. And Fred's parents, Anne and Henley, you should be proud that you have such a wonderful like Fred. And Fred and Sohee, finally, I'd like to ask you one thing of you. In Korean expression, there is saying that 역지사지, which means put yourself in someone else's shoes. So when you two get married and live together, there must come a time when you have different opinions, hard times. However, if you think on the other's point of view and try to understand each other, everything will easily get solved. And I believe you two will do this and lead a happy married life. Once again, I congratulate you on your wedding. Thank you.
I am honored to help celebrate Fred and Sohee's marriage. I am proud of the man that Frederick has become and the values which he embodies. I am more than pleased that he has found somebody to spend his life with who shares his sense of kindness, respect, and generosity. Since he was a child, he's been independent, self-directed, and confident. He's been fearless but not reckless. He has chosen his friends carefully. He was always highly organized, sometimes to a fault. He still likes to neaten up my clutter when he comes to visit. Home computers were fairly new when Frederick was very young, but he grew up with them and became proficient by playing his Busy Town and Peter Rabbit games before moving on to Grand Theft Auto. We're grateful for this because he now provides tech support 24/7 without complaint. He's never taken kindly to those who were greedy and selfish. Frederick's political views reflect this. He has always loved trains, still does. At age 3, in the middle of his cousin Matt's college graduation, when he heard a train whistle in the distance, he yelled out, "All aboard!" at the top of his lungs. I'm glad we're not near the tracks now. Frederick was fascinated by Asian culture from an early age and made his first visit to Korea as a teen with a school friend. It was no surprise that he wanted to do a college semester abroad there and work in Korea after college. That's when he met Sohee. Knowing that Sohee was beginning graduate studies in New York in 2017, it was probably not a coincidence that he was ready to move back to the U.S. Her coming to spend Christmas with us that year was a delight. We were so happy to meet her. We suspected that she was someone very special to him. Sohee had several short visits with us between her research trips abroad, but we really got to know her better when the pandemic started and she escaped New York City and came to stay with us in Connecticut for a month in the spring of 2020. Fred was working for the Connecticut Food Bank and continued to work in person, but Sohee did her research remotely from our living room. Our dog Barton discovered a pal. We'd pass by and see Sohee with one hand on her laptop keyboard and the other scritching Barton for long periods of time. Dogs are astute judges of character, and Sohee rapidly became his favorite human. "Sorry, Mom and Dad," he seemed to say. It's been wonderful to see Frederick and Sohee planning this event, agreeing on most things and willing to compromise on others. They complement each other well. We've been excited to meet Sohee's family this past week, and we are so glad that they are here, and it's been wonderful.
Ever since Frederick was a teenager, his life, his worldview, the way he interacts with other people has been based on two questions. The first question is, how can I help? When he was in high school, he discovered that there was going to be a wellness fair for indigent people in Hartford. And of course, he thought, I can volunteer. But more than that, he organized a whole group of his classmates to also volunteer, got the school to rent a van, bring them all the way to Hartford and back. And then while he was there, this was sort of in the infancy of translation on your cell phone, but Mr. Tech had it and helped translate not just the Spanish-speaking people, but I understand there were very complicated ones. For example, Latvian, I think he helped one person with. His how can I help philosophy extended to a summer job. How can I help women? So he volunteered for Planned Parenthood. After that, how can I help the hungry? So he became a coordinator for the Connecticut Food Bank. After that, how can I help ordinary people understand their medical costs? And that is how he got involved with Fenestra. The second question is, how can I make it better? This started when he would come to our house from high school and take his 20th century parents and drag them technologically into the 21st century. But it also has extended to other parts of his life, one of which involves making sure that well, let me just give an example. In New York, he discovered that although the subway system has nice signage, it could be made better. And so he submitted a lengthy explanation to the MTA of how it could be made better, and they agreed with him. I'm not saying they changed it exactly, but that was his instinct to make things better. Now, we move to Sohee. Ann has already said a lot about Sohee, so all I'm going to say is, Ann and I were never blessed with a daughter. Now we've got one. She has a wonderful heart, wonderfully giving, and she also, we discovered this week, has brought us another benefit, and that is the most wonderful set of in-laws you can imagine. I don't know what the opposite of monster-in-law is, but whatever it is, Sohee's family embodies that.
You ready for a dance party? Thank you to both parents for those beautiful words, especially Mrs. McNulty when you said, Fred chooses his friends carefully. I feel validated.
Doctor.
Doctor, yes, my apologies. Now we've come to a deeply personal, heartfelt moment. Frederick and Sohee have written their own vows, personal promises that reflect not just who they are, but who they are choosing to become together. I am privileged to say until this moment, I am the only person who has seen both. And now I'll have each of them share it with all of you. Would you like to? Or could we have the mic? whenever you're ready.
Frederick, when we first met in 2016, we quickly bonded through conversations on current events and geopolitics. A few weeks in, you showed me an incredibly silly side, and I feel as though we've been laughing together since. Over the past 9 years, I have enjoyed every moment of getting to know the person you are. Okay. Fred, when I see the world through your eyes, it becomes a place filled with possibility. You imagine a future that is much more than what has come before, but you are also pragmatic about how to get there. You astound me with your optimism, even in the darkest days, one that is rooted in action and practice. Sorry. Okay. I adore how you cultivate community around you. You can always be counted on to show up for others. Your community does not merely end with the people you know. You also strive for a greater good. I love that you have a strong sense of place. You hold the places you have inhabited dear and close to your heart. You are steadfast in your values and beliefs, but are not inflexible to modifying your views based on evidence. You're always up for a challenge. I admire the confidence with which you approach conversations with those who you may disagree with. You are a wonderful communicator. You taught me the importance of honest communication in our relationship. Early on, you used to often say that relationships are about compromise before demonstrating it by taking the first step. Your actions match your words, and I know that I can count on you for anything, both big and small. Fred, you've been my... You've been my biggest supporter in all my endeavors. Even though I don't always take your advice when you tell me to start every class or presentation with a joke, I am grateful for how you build me up. I knew you were the one for me when I felt that I could be completely myself with you. You make me feel safe, supported, and seen, as though I can take on any new challenge that comes our way. Fred, I promise that I will do my best to make you feel heard, understood, and seen, just as you have for me. To be there for when you need me to be. I promise to always appreciate the joy and happiness that you bring to my life. I love you so much. I think we make a great team, and I look forward to a lifetime of adventures, laughter, and growth with you. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Here you go.
Yeah.
I sat down to write these. Oops. All right. I sat down to write these views barely a few weeks ago, but in reality, these words have been nearly a decade in the making. We met for the first time in late summer of 2016, and I knew by the following June that you would be the one that I marry. I'm extremely proud to stand up here with you today and celebrate our love with our community. Your intellect, our shared values, our overlapping senses of humor, not to mention her beauty, sparked my initial interest in you. But it really has been your curiosity, compassion, and devotion that have fostered our growth for the better part of a decade. Perhaps most of all, I love the way you think. Of course, as in virtually all relationships, hardships occur, but your capability to speak frankly but respectfully and always in pursuit of a mutual resolution has led to smooth sailing and a sense of mutual decision-making in our union. But not all times have been happy. We've also weathered losses together. The deaths of my grandfather, Fritz Schneider, and your grandmother, Che Gumsun, were solemn occasions. I can't express how happy I am that you were able to have a relationship with my grandfather, and I was able to spend so much time with your grandmother. In fact, she was the first person I told before proposing you. I'm confident in saying that both of our grandparents would be proud to see how we have grown together, and also of how their memories have imbued us with wisdom, compassion, and purpose. With that, I vow to never stop exploring with you, whether that be with regards to how we grow as a couple, traveling the world, satiating our shared desires, and continuing to hold an open mind as we grow together. I commit loyalty to you, to our relationship, and to our general well-being as our life together develops. I promise to communicate openly, honestly, and in a timely manner to avoid any frustrations of the moment that will distract from the totality of our relationship. And finally, I pledge that today will not be our happiest day together, as our best days are ahead of us. I love you, Sohee. Thank you for making me happier than I possibly could have ever imagined.
For me, don't worry. Thank you to both for those beautiful reflections. I'll stay off to the side for now. And now we've come to a moment of symbolic meaning, something both thoughtful and a little poetic. As a symbol of their shared lives and the support that they draw from both families, Frederick and Sohee will now take part in a unity wine ceremony. This tradition dates back centuries and is rooted in the idea of blending two distinct lives into one. Each set of parents has brought a bottle of wine, and in a moment, a little from each will be poured into a single cup. This symbolizes not only the joining of two people, but also the joining of families, histories, and futures. It's a reminder that while life has its sweet and bold moments, and maybe even a few unsavory ones, they'll be shared together as one. Should we get there? Get a round of applause. As we come to the close of the ceremony, I will stand right here as if I'm a pastor, as you may have wanted me to. The groom has granted me, quote unquote, roughly one paragraph to offer a final thought to the couple. I don't like following instructions, so. While I haven't experienced married life yet, I have heard that much of it is built on empathy, understanding, and compromise, which includes, yes, even accepting that Christmas music can be played outside the sacred window between Black Friday and 12 days after Christmas. For context, Fred has a very firm rule about that, no exceptions. He banned it from this ceremony as well. Sohee, this may already be your reality, but a man who brings structure not only to personal calendars, but also to when Mariah Carey wakes up from hibernation, is your future. Your PhD likely required great self-discipline, but the rest of your life will be governed by a whole new level of calendar-based precision. Sporadically sprinkled with remarks of disdain for British royalty, and frequently doused in the spiciest Korean sauces available in the world. And yet, within all those quirky rules and structures, there is a quiet kind of stability between the two of you that I'm sure many of us around you have felt for a long time. One that is rare, steady, and deeply admirable. As someone who's had the privilege of calling Fred a friend since our teenage years, it's been a joy to witness the relationship you've built, grounded, thoughtful, and caring of all those around you. I truly wish you both a lifetime of adventure, unwavering partnership, and unending moments of joy, even when those hot sauces Fred finds get unbearably spicy. To the bride and groom, as we close this ceremony in celebration of your union, I'm going to move to the side for a bit. And let me say that again. To the bride and groom, as we close this ceremony in celebration of your union, you may now seal it with a kiss. All right, please give a warm round of applause to the married couple.